Buddy, I'm fucking selling air fryers.
I hate to break the fishing news after Ramchuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep.
All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 244 of the Real Life Podcast. Hello, I'm Tyler Remchuk, Wanye Bagged Milk, Jay Chalmers. Everyone is here. We got a full cast, and damn right we do, because Oilers training camp is underway. We're going to have hockey to talk about. We're going to dig into all of that throughout the podcast. I think next week we might do a little predictions episode, maybe talk a little betting, a little fantasy, all that other stuff. We also have a listener profile to get to in just a second, but before we get to that, should tell you that, as always, this podcast is brought to you by our good friends at Oodle Noodle. 14 locations in the Edmonton area. Number 15 is coming soon, and if you're like my friend Bagged Milk, here's what you need to do. Order Oodle Noodle. Get the Oodle Noodle, eat some of it, the leftovers, put them in the air fryer.
See, I haven't done this yet. I'm very, very much looking forward to doing it because now I'm living the air fry lifestyle, and everything's going in there.
You need to write an air frying cookbook.
Funny you say that because I've actually got a note in my phone that I'm working on as I learn how to cook shit. I'm updating it alphabetically based on how I'm cooking it.
There you go.
That's smart. I usually just go off feel. You know, some would call me more of like a natural air frying talent where I can just throw something in and, you know, come check on it in 5 minutes and it'll always come out perfectly.
Isn't an air fryer just an oven?
Yeah, but it's way fucking better.
Why?
Faster.
It's way faster.
I made perfect wings the other day in 25 minutes.
Are they crispy?
They were crispy. They were
way
delicious.
better than,
they were beautiful.
They're way crispier than oven wings. Like oven wings you'd make at home. It's way better in the air fryer.
Wow.
I actually used my exact same recipe that I do for oven baked wings in the air fryer, and they were legitimate. I would say a solid 23% better.
The only way to make wings, so cooking wings, can we all just agree cooking wings in the oven is the absolute worst?
It is.
Yeah, sure.
And then to double down on it, the only way to do it, a friend of mine's, well, she is my friend. I'm going to say a friend of mine's wife, but my friend, she figured out the hack to do it in the oven. And what you do is you cook them for like 2 hours. Like you overcook them so they get crispy. It's weird, but it works. So if you have to do it in the oven,
it's like cooking them on a smoker. You cook them at lower temperature for longer.
Yeah. Like my oven wings take about an hour and 20 minutes probably, but in the air fryer, like I said, 25 minutes and they're better.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the air fryer? What is the size of an air fryer? Like, could you cook a whole chicken in there? Is it big enough for?
So mine has a 6-liter tank, so you could definitely cook a small chicken in there.
I think it's meant more for like appetizers and whatnot, though, like a standard air fryer. You know, you're putting in wings.
Don't limit my potential, Remchuck. There is all kinds of things that are going to go in there.
How dare you mock the air fryer? I got to get one. I'm ready to be a grown-up. I'll get one.
Oh, I've been an OG air fryer guy. Like, I've been using one for, I want to say 4 years now. Like, it's been a very consistent part of my life. All right. Before we get into some hockey talk and all that other stuff, we got a listener profile to get to today because we didn't get to one last week. On my list, we did an Instagram one. Chandler Dixon was our last one. So now we're going to our Twitter DMs. William James 87 is his Twitter handle.
He's a good guy. Chiarelli's his avatar, right?
Yeah, Chiarelli's his avatar.
Respect that he didn't take that down when Chia left.
Yeah.
You said William James 87?
William James 87. So all the real life fans, go give him a follow. He's a junior high school teacher, which is a fun fact. I come from a family of teachers, so I respect that profession.
And plumbers.
Yeah, teachers on one side, plumbers on the other. And air fryers. Interesting fun fact, he's run the stairs the same time as Craig McTavish in the River Valley several times randomly. The last time he saw him, he nodded his head at me. Fairly certain we're friends now. So, I mean, we're getting cool connections in these fun facts, and the fact that William James 87 is friends with Mac T, that's a big one.
Huge.
He started listening since the beginning of the Real Life Podcast, but he only became a diehard listener after the format switch from Gregor and Struddy to, and I quote, "you hooligans."
Ha! Hey, Gregor, you bastard.
what, hour 5 of the Jason Gregor show wasn't translating well?
Hey, to be fair, they didn't know they had the chemistry that they had until they were co-hosting the podcast.
Oh, yeah. That's true, 100%.
They used this as a springboard.
That's right.
I said to him, we should do this, you, me, Strutty, and Chalmers. And they went, Chalmers? We don't know who that is. And now who's here, Chalmers? You are.
Exactly. Pretty soon I'll infiltrate their show.
His favorite podcast moment? Chumgate. He says Chalmers did in fact cheat. So
wow! Billy James, my boy!
Suddenly, he's off the Christmas card list at the Chalmers house.
Yeah. Agree to disagree.
Runner-up moment. Tell us about the 170th Street Husky bathroom story. But I believe we said we are not saying that, right?
Why? We're never going to say it ever?
We are. That is such good. Like, should have done that over the holiday. I'm so bad. We got to tell that story.
We should have done it. Well, on our like Christmas episode where we were having a couple beverages. I'm actually driving by.
You cannot give that to people during the holidays. It's too gross. You got to pick a date like May 18th. It has nothing to do with anything.
I promise. Like, I keep bringing it along, but we got to tell it. It's got to be in the off season. I think
it's got to be in person too.
Yeah, it's better. It's good because there's a lot of color. Like, because Chalmers has got some input on it.
And we have to hammer drinks for the first 90 minutes of the special, and then you close with it.
The thing is the story actually could be its own episode, because the thing about that story is you have to provide the proper backstory so people can visualize the setting of both the Husky itself and also the place he was at before he went to the Husky. Because
we could invest in getting those renderings they do of low budget crime reconstruction, and we could get them to render us the whole room.
That's what I want to see.
I'll just hand draw it for phase 1 of the story, and when it's ready to go to the big screen, we'll.
You're gonna hand bomb it and then post it on social. This is the image for the story.
It would be nice to show a top view plan drawing.
You need to know the layout of the Husky for the
and the house
yeah.
he was at before, because there's reasons why it had the Husky actually came into play.
If you watch a documentary on World War II and you don't have the maps with the arrows, it's very difficult to follow where Poland lies.
So what we would do is I will hand draw both scenarios for people, and we'll just post it up, give everyone a couple days to digest.
We could also go take photos of the one place. The Husky.
The Husky, that side of the Husky is no longer, right? It's right, Chalmers? That's the gas station. Yeah, the gas station doesn't operate out of that anymore. It operates out of the convenience store side. So so for people to go and see it themselves, they can't.
What the fuck is up with your camera? Did you put your phone inside what is that?
Jay, I think it's in Jay's pocket. Is it, Jay?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna get an aneurysm looking at that.
I can kind of see through your pockets. I can see the blue sky.
Oh wow!
Wow, it's cool.
Oh wow! I'm back working at home, so I'm back to go to off-season mode where I walk and talk.
Well, I also
I podcast.
I'll get
this
back
was
to
a story about nothing that became a story about even less of nothing.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about being inside Jay's pocket, and 18 people are listening.
I do appreciate, Jay, that when we do a podcast where it's audio only, and prime audio quality is very important to me as the producer, you decide now is a good time to go walk outside. I appreciate that.
No, but I sound good, don't I? I sound just the same. That's why I got the AirPods.
It's not bad, yeah.
A little hopping and puffing, yeah.
All right,
back
back to William J87 and.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Peter
William.
Torelli.
You should wear this as an honor, a badge that your listener profile was able to get us this far off the rails.
What was that?
Maybe
he's
a badge.
He's not even good-looking Torelli in his avatar. He's like Torelli with a stash and the track jacket open like a dad at White Mud West Trials.
But I'm sorry. I think Bagmel picked up onto a honor of badge here, I'm Chuck.
Yeah, where does a badge of honor? What did I say?
There you go.
Did I say honor of badge?
Yeah,
sure did.
Sardines?
Sour beans?
Sour bees.
Sour beans.
Wanye, did you know that Chalmers does not know how to say sardines?
Sardines? What do you say?
Sardines.
No, you said sour bees.
And it still sounds rough, but he's come a long way since last week.
Yes, Jay's pocket. I agree.
You think you know a guy to the point that you think you could render a since renovated gas station together from memory. Then you find out he can't say a word like sardines.
Anyways, back to our listener profile.
Longest listener profile ever.
Yeah, it's taken us over 10 minutes. Favorite Oilers moment. He was at Rexall for Game 6 in 06. Electric.
Oh, the best game of all time.
Yeah, one of them for sure. His favorite sports moment, I like this one. He was at the gold medal game in Vancouver in 2010. Some guy offered him $2,000 for his ticket on the flight out there. He turned him down, never regretted it. Calls it the most patriotic moment of his life. He heard Sidney Crosby yell Iggy before he passed him the puck.
Wow. That's so cool.
Question for the group. Who would have taken the money? I would have.
Never would have. Nope.
$2,000? I'm in.
No, not two. I would. It has to be way more, and then I would try to see if I could weasel a shittier ticket for less of price.
Yeah.
And your Remchuk, I'd like to have a word with you off call about what Oiler game, other than the Cup wins, which none of us witnessed because it was too long ago. What do you think is better than 06 finals, Game 6?
No, like
preemptively, you're wrong.
Well, I was at the game as well. 8-year-old Tyler was there.
You were?
Oh yeah, my dad took me.
Oh my God, were you like, actually, Dad, the stats clock is wrong on the scoreboard, right?
No, I remember it being very loud. I remember when they won, all the streamers.
Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, I remember it being a great time.
Good for you being there. That's a moment in history.
The only reason I said one of is because I was including the Cup wins. But if you're going in like the last whatever time that we've all been kind of kicking, it's definitely the best game.
I'm sure going to a Mozart concert would have been great too. That was
what would be number 2 in the last 15 years?
So my favorite game, I think, for me that I was at was when Smitty got his teeth knocked out, he came back and assisted Horkov's OT goal. That was a fucking banger to be at, because not only was it great to be on that playoff run just in general, Rexall Place ran out of beer, and that was one of the loudest boos I've ever heard in that building ever than when they made that announcement.
Joe Tate said, never again.
Other games that would be included there, I think Game 6 that year against Detroit. That's an unreal one. I think
Jay Harney overtime winner,
and Game 6 Edmonton Anaheim.
Every single game in the Cup run is in the top 10, and then modern day in Anaheim, the win we witnessed, Jay, that was the best.
Was Game 6 the one, Tyler, that you were talking about where Leon Draisaitl scored a hat trick? Yeah, I was at that game too. I got influencer tickets that day, and I was sitting right behind the Oilers bench. It was fucking awesome.
Did it measure your heart rate went to 2 trillion or something?
Yeah, so that was basically the shtick, is that I had to wear this heart rate monitor and then post pictures on social media. And during the game, it was amazing how high my heart rate climbed.
I sometimes feel like I'm gonna faint because I'm just going so hard, and I'll be jumping up and down and screaming and out of breath. I would love to have myself hooked up to the biometrics. If you actually fainted at a hockey game, so amped up, I think that they should give you a special pin. In playoff mode, it's just all bets are off. All responsibilities in your life are
nothing matters. It's all suspended.
Nothing matters, and I literally jump and yell so fucking hard and loud. Rick is a guy by the end of the game in the playoff mode. He needs to be transported on Air 1 or an ambulance somewhere. He needs oxygen. He needs a monkey blood transfusion.
Rick is like that on a Tuesday game against Minnesota.
But playoffs, man. He wears a different pair of shoes every period.
Yeah, all Oilers shoes. All black market Oilers shoes.
He challenges every opposition's fan within eyesight to fight.
Yeah, going to Calgary with Rick, and that's just on a normal circumstance in adventure.
Yeah, that's part of the experience of the nation vacation.
Yeah, the Rick experience. That's one of the things I'm excited for about hockey coming back, is getting passionate Rick on Oilers Nation Radio. I got to finish up this listener profile because it is brought to you by it is brought to you by Oodle Noodle, and most of the people who've done a listener profile have been living outside of the Edmonton area and too far away from one of the 14 locations, so they haven't given us an order. But William J87, he has. His favorite Oodle Noodle order, hot noodle box, double the chicken.
Bang. Interesting.
Nice. Respect.
Did he hit us with a score? Is there a score?
No, he didn't give us a number because.
Well, I'll give him one. 3. How does that sound?
There's a listener profile brought to you by Oodle Noodle. I also want to give a shout out to another company right now. I had to buy a few gifts over the holiday season, and I put a lot of care into buying gifts. But the one I was most excited to give is I gave my sister, who I got in my family Secret Santa gift exchange, I got her some subscription to the Yeg Coffee Club. Was my gift to her.
You're Chuck here, good man.
And she was fired up when she opened it, because at first she was like, is it just the card? Like, is that all I got for Christmas? Because I just got her a Christmas card, and then inside I said, hey, I got you a subscription to this. It's coming in the next few months. So she was fired up for it. She said she was thinking about getting a subscription beforehand, but she was like, but I hadn't gotten around to it, so this is great. And I also want to thank Wanya and everyone at the Yeg Coffee Club who dealt with my difficulty being a customer. I'm a very difficult customer to deal with. I ordered it too early, and you guys figured it out beautifully for me. So shout out to the Yeg Coffee Club. If you got a coffee lover in your life, support local as well. It is great. What's the website? Is it just yegcoffeeclub.ca? .com? Okay, perfect. There you go. Check it out.
Thanks, buddy. You're a good man.
Oh, please, I'm choking on my coffee. Someone talk.
Oh, my God. We do not sell poison coffee that your M-Truck is currently choking on. All of our coffee is non-poison, non-chokified, certified.
Local non-poisonous coffee.
Yes.
Shit.
Okay, I'm back. Whew. Jeez, I went down the wrong hole.
That's
Wrong
what
pipe.
he said. That was the YYC Coffee Club he was drinking.
Yeah. So the Oilers are on the ice. Training camp opened up. As per Jason Gregor, Connor McDavid looks even faster.
I was on the phone with Jason Gregor today, and he's like, I keep saying this, but he looks faster. It might not be his speed, but his hands. He's like, he's had a full year of training now, and now he's trained the way he wants to train.
What are we even talking about?
Yeah, that could be good.
Maybe the people that are on the ice right now with him who aren't going to be on the team are just much slower.
Get out of here, Chalmers. Pessimistic bullshit.
Yeah, well, Chalmers took a bunch of bullshit for not knowing who Dubois was after last week's episode. I was watching that on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, that was good to see.
Although I was kind of wrong on that episode because I said it was all a smokescreen, but it turns out his trade request is 100% legit, and he actually does want out of Columbus, so I gloated pretty hard about that. But for the record, it was sort of a part of the cold open on last week's episode, but Jay did say he would trade Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for him.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
I would be open. I've spent a lot of time in a lot of pockets, but never the pockets of a fucking traitor. I want to keep Nuge forever.
Well, do you or don't you? You traded him for some idiot.
I said it's that's one of the only players I'd ever be open to doing a trade.
The only person I would trade the Nuge for is a younger Nuge, if that were somehow possible. Other than that, no mas.
Here's my concern about the Nuge. I love the Nuge. No. My concern is legitimate. It's not about the person or the player. Both are fantastic. It's just if Nuge is going to play on a line with McDavid potentially for the year, and he's just going to go lights out. That's probably going to get leveraged against us for the money he wants to do.
The Nuge is a gentleman. He won't hold our
I hope not. But he's got a machine around him. He's already very rich. He's got racehorses stacked to the sky. As long as he gets a fair deal, he'll take a haircut to stay with Connor. Hey, in my heart of hearts, I believe that's the type of guy Nuge is.
He is. He will. Because he'll probably play till he's 37 because he's so durable.
I would argue durable, but he thinks the game at such a high level that he could play.
You're looking for trade options for a non-durable Nuge that you know, sir? I do not know you in 2021.
Unfortunately, hockey is a business.
It is not a business, and that's why we should sign Ryan Smith present day to a 10-year contract.
This whole conversation is very upsetting to me.
Oh yeah, I don't. That's why I don't want to give it like too much life because I'm all about keeping Nuge forever. Trust me.
Till 37.
So one of the things to come out of Oilers training camp, and here's where I'll start with this. The helmet ads were a big story, and I thought it was ridiculous that it was a big story because people have no problems with, the Adidas logo being on jerseys, Bauer logos being on helmets, the rinks having ads along the boards, the rinks having ads on the ice. You watch a TV broadcast, you're hit with nothing but ads for 3 hours with some hockey sprinkled in. But then a little logo is going to go on the helmet, and people lost their shit.
That you won't even see, by the way.
Yeah, it's impossible to see. And the reason I know that is because when the Oilers posted their first round of photos from training camp, I didn't even notice that the Rogers ad was there. It wasn't until Gene Principe posted a photo of a close-up helmet being like, oh, look, Rogers ad's on the helmet. Other than that,
Where is it?
It's just on the sides of the
right
helmet,
on the side.
where the Oilers logo used to be. It's now just a Rogers logo. And
There's
I mean,
no more Oilers logo on their helmet?
No, it's Rogers.
Sacrilege, to say the French, sort of.
I found the overreaction by some people funny. Like,
well, what if I told you everyone's overreacting all the time to everything forever?
Well, that's true.
Here's the funny thing.
Fucking...
Like, because we come from a league that hasn't had this, so now we're enforcing a change, so we're all going to go and be crazy about it. But there's two instances in my sporting fandom life outside of hockey, AFL.
Your fucking audio right now is so bad. Your
so bad.
Hair just grew in here.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry. Is it better now?
Yeah, but what were you doing?
I don't know. I was walking, and now I'm going to turn back and walk in a different direction.
Okay. So
two instances.
You're like the guy in a business Zoom meeting who just can't figure out the mute, can't figure out the Zoom video after like a month of doing it online, and it's actually kind of getting funny at this point. If it wasn't so frustrating, it would be funny.
I know.
One of my favorite
I'm the guy in the Zoom meeting who's trying to take his laptop with him for a walk.
No, you're the guy from 5 years ago who had a headpiece on and wasn't even driving. He was walking around the mall. That's who you are, sir.
Oh, this is my Bluetooth Motorola Razr.
Just a sec, I'm getting a call from the office. Just a sec. Hello?
I love the voice you do for that.
Anyway, there's two sporting events that I can't, like, it's a polar opposite. I'm one of the ones that looks at it, I'm like, no, you can't do it. But then I'm the guy who at an AFL game and a League of Hockey game went to go buy a jersey and a jacket, and they have the price for just the team for, like, say $80 you can get the jersey, or $80 you can get this coat for the AFL team. Or you can get the one with the ads for $30 more, because that's the same ads that are on the jerseys that the players are wearing. Well, I fucking clearly, just being, Joe average fan, I bought the one with the ads on it. Because I'm like, that's the one the players wear. That's the cool one. So we can get to a point where we'll be very accepting of these ads. I know right now up front, it's a very weird and strange thing because it is new to our game. But it's not going to make a difference, and it's only going to help the league.
I have a bunch of buddies that are English and super into the EPL.
Yeah.
And they actually look at ads on jerseys almost kind of like a timeline of when you became a fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you have a Man U jersey with ad X, Y, or Z on it, you can have an idea of how long that person's kind of been in the mix with them.
Jay, we should get Oodle Noodle patches made, and then it'd be like the ad we wish we could afford on the Oilers jerseys, and then we'll start a thing of like, you're a real fan, you'll sew your own patch on. Oh, businessman.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be the new world.
Sew your own patch.
Sew your own patch.
I like that. This is not really anything your Amtrak, so you'll be enthralled. The Nation Network jacket where you can sew your patches on, that's gangster.
It's kind of like sewing on your own honor of badge.
Honor of badge?
Sorry, badge of honor.
Honor of badge. I just still can't believe, Jay, that you don't think the Nuge is durable. With heart like his?
I think
he gets banged up a little bit.
I think that moving to the wing.
Up.
I think that moving to the wing is going to help him tremendously.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you get him off center. He's more designed for that.
The last 5 years of his career, he'll be a penalty killing expert. Oh, I can see it already. He'll have 8 mustache hairs.
Yeah, it'll be great when he retires as a lifelong Oiler, and he still looks the exact same as the day he was
still the
drafted.
youngest player in the league, even though he's retiring.
Speaking of mustache hairs, I gotta just interrupt everything and say, did anybody see the clip from Trevor Lawrence is a college football player, and he was being interviewed after his bowl game.
After they lost.
After they lost, and he has like a really bad mustache because he's 18 years old, and it's bad. And the lady that had just asked him the question didn't mute herself, and she said while he was answering the question, "Oh, poor Trevor's got to shave that mustache." And he's like, he stops. He's like, "Excuse me," and then the moderator comes in and is like, "Could you please mute your microphone, please?" He's like, you can tell she's just like, "Oh my God, what did I just do?" And he starts laughing. He's a good sport about it. But when you said mustache hairs, I just couldn't help but think about that. It was fucking hilarious.
It was really funny. I wonder if we're gonna get any good moments like that throughout the NHL season.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Did I just tell you how?
he does all these things, but he never does anything so bad that it's like super funny. He just does that like the average bad audio thing. So like, if you're gonna do something to screw with us, then do something really funny.
Yeah.
I just got to say, I'm so excited. Well, like, I'm just looking at Gregor's Twitter feed right now. Just everybody's videos from training camp make me so happy. Even the fact that I'm watching this video from friend of everybody, Reed Wilkins, that shows Jesse Puljujarvi back at Edmonton for the first time in over a year, and he still has a bucket that doesn't look like it fits his head. I love it.
We've had that much time to figure out the helmet situation, and we still can't get it right. Damn.
I love it.
That's funny. I'm excited. I got word today that it sounds like I'm going to get a pass to go watch games in Rogers Place. So on a personal note,
fancy boy.
It is an honor watching you become a legitimate media person, and I can't wait for the day where you come to us and say, I wouldn't be on your podcast for all the tea in China, you fucking losers, I've arrived.
So yeah, that kind of ties into something I was thinking about earlier today. And what I saw Jason Gregor post, I remember calling games in the ACAC at Nate, where they are having their training camp today.
Yeah.
And it made me think, holy shit, like that guy went from, like calling games at Nate, and he progressed, and not really many people outside of your business, because I know I don't, and I kind of see my wife go through it, but it's different in every, category of your business. And I was thinking, Chuck, like if your goal is your goal to be like a Jason Gregor, like to have a radio show where you
He is Jason Gregor.
I would like Jason Gregor's time slot, yes.
You are already Jason Gregor of your own generation where you're doing stuff on the internet.
So
we can just start recording the pod at 2 p.m.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's interesting to me. It's interesting to me to think about what you have to do, and like there's a whole bunch of little jobs, and I think people would be like really interested in knowing, because there's no direct path to that. You basically have to take any job in sports locally that you can get, calling.
A lot of times, not even locally.
Yeah.
So like what I don't know what's like the come up for you, like how does it? This could be a long answer. I don't even know. But like,
we found you, Remchuk, talking into a hairbrush by the side of the road, doing play-by-play for an imaginary basketball team. Only he could see, and we said, "This kid's got what it takes." See, and that was it.
And I like what Bagmilk said about like all over the place too, because up until the pandemic, I wrote newsletters for an English betting company, like in England. And I was doing that for them. But I remember when I was in Nate, I started my own website just to like blog and babble about shit. And me and my buddy Liam reached out to the Sherwood Park Crusaders to be like, hey, can we come cover your games? And we just wanted to go get in and get access and cover games and do all that stuff. And they responded, they're like, yeah, and we'll pay you. And I remember like when I was 18, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to get paid to watch hockey. And like, I mean, it's Junior A. I love the AJHL, and I do the AJHL show and all that now. But like, yeah, you basically just got to like go wherever you can to like call games. I called Ooks games for a year and a half as well. I'm still working and doing University of Alberta Golden Bears games. If their season ever gets going again, then yeah, man, you just call games. One of my favorite things to do is do play-by-play for the Brick tournament with all the 12-year-olds or whatever they are. Like, I love working that tournament, man. And I don't know, it's just, yeah, you do, if anywhere's going to let you talk, especially for me being like, 23 years old and still trying to like carve out a name for myself. If anywhere's going to let me talk and pay me to do it, I'm probably going to say yes.
Yeah, I find it interesting because it's not like you start working in the back of a company and then you move yourself to sales, and the next thing you know, you're kind of a manager and then a general manager. Those are like very linear positions. There's always stepping stones, but with you guys, it's like in your industry, there's no real like checkpoint. Like you have checkpoints you have to hit, but there's no real like structure that you have. You have to do a bunch of different things, and I think it's cool. I like it.
Stressful, yeah, but you're right. It's cool. I mean, it's
stressful.
Working a lot of different jobs and all that. But I mean, I get to talk about hockey, so like I never fucking complain about anything. Obviously,
you just have to remember your Chuck, that in a few years from now, when younger kids are looking up to you, and you see a kid that reminds you of you, in the grand tradition of media types, destroy that kid for fear that he will take over on one day, and make sure you ruin his life. Do not support him. Stab him in the back and get him fired for something he didn't do.
Yeah, when people ask them how they got to where they are, they just say, or how did you get into this business? They just say, don't. It's hard. It's grind. Don't. And they discourage them from minute one.
Everybody, though, that you'll find will tell you that established in a career, if you say, should I get into it? They'll say no.
Yeah.
I find that everybody. Ask a lawyer. Should I become a lawyer? They're like, fuck no.
Yeah, my son said he wants to build houses, and I said, you absolutely are not doing that.
See? Grand tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will
My
say,
son
like,
the other day wanted to start a Twitter account, and I was like, the hell you will.
but like for me, like, I mean, the younger guys in the media always need to, whatever, scratch and claw a little more. But like Jason Gregor's, I mean, probably the reason I'm working for Oilers Nation, right? Like if it wasn't for him sort of making the connection and introducing me to this, like probably wouldn't have started. Same thing at like TSN for me. Like if Matt Iwanek didn't like give a shit about me and like didn't care about my career, like probably wouldn't have a job there either. So it is a big part of like,
where's he?
What do you mean, Matt Iwanek?
Yeah.
He's working at the radio station. He's the boss.
Oh, you see, I don't listen because I don't have a ham radio.
That's fair. A lot of people have that issue. That's why podcasts are the way things are going now. All right, back to Oilers training camp. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on a line with Connor McDavid, keeping him off the Draisaitl-Yamamoto line. Is that a good move or is that a bad move?
Dave Tippett just wants to hurt my fucking feelings.
None of this shit matters. They never stay on a line together for more than 30 fucking seconds of gameplay.
That is all true, but I just I think
having said that, it matters. Go to dailyfaceoff.com regularly because it matters so much.
That's right.
What is wrong? What's your beef with him playing with McDavid, Bagmel?
I just want that line that was so fucking good to start off 2020 back together.
Yeah.
Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamamoto. They were the best they were the best line in the NHL. And I don't know. I get Connor needs some love, but I also think that there are more options now to give Connor some love on that left side. Why not reunite the best line in the NHL? It doesn't make sense to me.
When you watch the 06 Cup run, and I watched a fair number of the games that are on YouTube during this pandemic because, what else are you going to do? They actually left the lines together for an extended period of time and chemistry could develop. And I don't know if it's a reverse engineered problem of the reason why they couldn't do that for the last, say, 14 years was because they were shit for so many years and had to change it up, or if something fundamentally has changed in the game. But those lines in the playoffs, they rolled the same lines almost the whole time, barring injuries.
Sorry, did you say in 06?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because they were rolling. Of course,
Yeah.
you don't need to blend it up if you're rolling. They were rolling.
But why would you change up the hottest line in the league?
That's my point. They were rolling.
If you're to do it, if you're going to give it a try, now's the time.
But why would they change it last year, though?
They're saying, JR, why would you do it? Like
last year.
I know that everybody understands that the time is now, but why? Explain why they would do it. I don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't think that you don't build chemistry with anything in any way by constantly changing that factor.
Exactly.
It's like, it's like having, I don't know.
Because we've got more depth now. I think it's worth a gamble. That's not even a gamble. It's worth a try right now. We're talking about putting Nuge with McDavid.
Yeah, you're talking about a gamble of reuniting the hottest line in the league 12 months ago?
You're talking about putting Nuge with McDavid, which is unreal. Now, Draisaitl via Yamamoto, who they're planning is probably going to take a step. You don't need as much firepower now on that line, and give Ennis a try, who is totally capable of contributing. It's just an experiment. It's just training camp.
I just think that it's like, if it's not broken, why try and fix it?
Yeah, but it just being training camp. If they start the season that way, I'll look to them and be like, because I always hate when they play blender with the line. I've always hated it. I feel like you take what people build and you just throw it away, and you make and like the first sign of any type of struggle within that line.
Yeah, it's like change it up. Change it up.
And the way things become the strongest is, sure, that line's moving along and it's doing great, and then it goes through some struggle. It's going to come out the other end of that struggle stronger. So why switch it up in the struggle? You're basically taking away their opportunity to become better as a line. And for what? And when you do that, not only are you doing it to that line, but you're clearly doing it to another line. Maybe that other line didn't have chemistry, but why fuck with the line that does? I'll never understand it.
And
the experiment is to try to make legitimately a serious 1-2 punch. The theory before was just McDavid is the first punch. Great. Now the second line we stacked, so they're gonna mesh, and Yamamoto turned out. But now's the time to try to add a legitimate, give McDavid someone to play with who is offensively minded and gifted like Nuge, and let's give Draisaitl two guys that have got a lot of upside to see what they can do as a 1-2 punch, as opposed to just being a one punch with kind of like a counter punch, if you will.
Your Remchuk right now.
Yeah.
If let's just say we start the season right now, top six would be, and top six was Nuge, Draisaitl, and Yamamoto on the second line, and the first line would be McDavid. I just don't.
No, right now, if we started the season based on what we saw today, it would be Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Cassian, and it would be Ennis with Draisaitl and Yamamoto.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
This conversation makes me very happy.
Oh yeah.
Because we're arguing about
Yeah.
we're arguing about line combinations for real hockey as opposed to having 4 months of sweet fuck all to talk about. And
I
despite my annoyance,
I think moving Ennis to second line and putting removing Ennis to the first line and putting Nuge on the second line in order to keep that line together makes more sense than switching them up.
There's also, to be fair, there's also a bunch of guys, a handful of guys that are unfit to play as well today. Dominic Cahoon being a guy who will probably play in the top 6 at some point. So I don't know what unfit to play means. Again, that's just a blanket statement again. But
if you're looking for a surefire home run for a lineup addition, I've got it. He's a little bit long in the tooth. He isn't quite where he was. He may have lost
Ryan
a step.
Smith?
But a 44-year-old Ryan Smith would look unbelievable with his old white skates he used to have on the top line with Connor McDavid. He will still stand in front of the net.
You know what else?
I don't think you'd have to pay him as much as you'd think. 5.5 AAV.
You know what else looks great regardless of age? Twig and Berry's Nutsack underwear. Our friends at Twig and Berry's, you can get 15% off your order at twigandberries.ca by using the promo code NATION15. They got their own line of nutsack underwear. No judgment, no shaming, no fancy words, just real men. They also have their ODR collection. They got a good sales section if you're like me and you like saving a little bit of money. But no matter what you pick out on twigandberries.ca, promo code NATION15 gets you 15% off. Check them out. Good local company. Always good to support local. My counter argument to using the blender and, mixing up lines and all that is sometimes being a coach that'll do that, it keeps players on edge, man. Like, they can't get comfortable. They know that if they have 3 bad shifts, they're probably going to get moved off that top line. And especially when you're running with Connor McDavid, where there's a couple different guys there, I don't know. Sometimes I think it can be good to kind of make players know, like, you need to always be at your best, or I will not hesitate to pull you off.
Okay, but so you don't think that there's an opportunity that if that happens where you're not producing on the first line, you take somebody from the third line who's the best of the bottom 6 and you bring him up, leaving the second line still intact, a line that we all know works, was once the best in the NHL for a period?
I agree. I want to see Nugent Hopkins with Yamamoto and Draisaitl. I think that's a great line. I think Connor McDavid can kind of produce anywhere. And I think by building up that really, really good second line, you're giving other teams' coaches a nightmare. It's, do you want to try shut down the best line in hockey, or do you want to try shut down the best player in hockey? You pick. And the other line's going to get a gravy matchup.
For sure. You take Smitty, put him on the top line. You get him to go long-term, maybe 3-4 years, come down on his price a bit.
Other than power play where McDavid's passing it around and all this, there's not very many times where I see him score goals. And I may be wrong, but when I vision McDavid scoring a goal, it's wheeling through neutral zone, getting the blue line, and scoring.
Yeah.
It's not they get it deep and him and his line mates work it out front to him, or he works it out front to one of them. It's not the way that he plays. And so, like, I don't know.
He does his damage off the rush, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
You can move guys. You can give guys, credit by moving them up from the third. I just think there's a ton of ways to do it to solidify that first line and make it really formidable without fucking with a known asset.
Yeah.
But Chalmers, you can always. It's a known asset, so it's totally fine in training camp to mix it up and try different things to see how it looks and how it works, and maybe even give it a few games. You can go back to that line. You're not killing that line.
It takes time for them to get back to where they were. And even if they lose it and they work through it to get back to where they were, that's more that has more long-term effect in the good way than for them to get split up, have to come together and learn it again, just to find struggle maybe later. But, the next time they find struggle after the first time, if they work through it and become strong, they're better equipped to do it the second time, and it's going to take less time. There's nothing you can say to me right now to say that they shouldn't be playing together. Nothing.
Hey, I respect that. I'm saying that line is fantastic, but now's the time to try something else. Because, like I said, if you can have 2 first lines, if we can establish 2 real solid first lines, as opposed to having a first line, second line, like, yes, McDavid is tough to defend against, but if we can make his line crazy lethal and have Draisaitl make his line crazy lethal, because we have the two, literally 1 and 2 best players in the league. So let's try to build the 2 best lines in the league at the same time.
Yes.
That's the experiment I'm saying.
I would argue Nathan McKinnon's probably the second best player in the NHL, but I mean, coming off last year.
Oh, what about Speedy Jumbo Joe with Freddie Mercury and Mitch Marner, though? That's not going to be one of the best lines in the NHL.
Oh Lord, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see.
I am already sick of that being jammed down our throats.
Me too. I can't wait to see his foot speed in the beginning of the season. I hope he's working on it straight up.
Like Jumbo Joe seems like a great guy, and Hall of Famer, all that stuff. But
it's like they're trying.
He's also in his 40s now.
If any other team was doing that, they would be getting ripped and laughed at. But the Leafs went out this offseason and brought in a bunch of big, slow guys in a league that's getting faster, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what they needed.
But it's like, why do they keep doing the Patrick Marleau thing where they bring in this old guy and then they put young guys with them to mentor, and now they just switched up Patrick Marleau for Joe Thornton? Why?
How many games until Joe Thornton's on the 4th line?
I mean, I think it could work. It could work for a little bit, but I don't think it's going to work all year. And I certainly
blender.
I wouldn't bet on it working by any means.
Joe still thinks and sees the game at a crazy high level. Probably passes like crazy. His speed isn't there, but he never was a speed guy anyways. I don't know. Who knows, man?
The last 2 years, Joe Thornton has averaged just over 15 minutes per night, which is not first line minutes.
No.
I guess my question for you, Chuck, is this.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne Gretzky got a hole-in-one in California, correct?
Yeah.
Is that the height of his athletic accomplishment?
Probably, yeah.
How many?
Can you think of anything he's done that's better than that?
How many golfers nail a hole-in-one?
Paulina?
Like an average golfer? 1 in 10,000, isn't it? Isn't that the number?
1 in 10,000?
Like average golfers?
That can't be right. 1 in 10,000 golfers? I guess I golf with golfers. I know lots of people with hole-in-one.
Really? I don't know. I always thought that was the number that popped out for the
you have 2, don't you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Jay's got 2.
Jay has 2, cool.
Chalmers has 0. You can tell by his voice.
Hey, Wanye, do you like how into hockey I am right now?
Yeah, it's awesome, Chalmers. What happened to the NFL?
Yeah.
It's the World Juniors, and honestly, I am excited for this season. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I'm very excited.
If there's one thing sorry to interrupt you, John. If there's one thing I hope you've learned in the last 3 months is that hockey is required to make the long winter nights palatable.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've been like, well, might as well shut it down. Look at my watch, 7:15. What the fuck? We need hockey.
We absolutely need hockey. I've really been enjoying the later rounds of the World Juniors, and just talking about it, hockeycanada.ca/50/50. Right now, as we're recording 10-2 on a Monday, $3.9 million on the 50/50.
Hello.
Woo.
That's pretty good.
But didn't it roll over? It went unclaimed from New Year's to the 2nd, and I thought it rolled over. So how is it not up?
I think didn't they take one of the pots and split it up and disperse it and spread it out a little?
The 3.9 Chalmers has now been claimed.
Ah.
Okay, good. Lucky guy.
Oh, I see. You know what? You're right. The 3.8 from New Year's Eve went unclaimed, and then that got rolled over, which was claimed by a young man named Colin Cameron.
Good job, Colin.
Lucky man.
Yeah.
Mental note. Kidnap. Colin. What? No.
When it comes to the World Juniors, I agree, Bag Milk. The hockey's gotten really, really good. They're that Russia-Germany game in the quarterfinals, that was a great finish in that one. The Canada game against the Czech Republic, that was tighter than I kind of thought it would be. There was some really, really good hockey being played. And tonight, by the time most people listen to this podcast, the game's probably going to be over. But I'm incredibly excited for Canada-Russia. When these two teams play, man, it's always unreal.
Give us the rundown. You wrote about it today with Nation.com.
Yeah, this both teams just seem to match up really, really well. And heading into the tournament, I would have said that Russia gets an advantage potentially because of the goaltending. But Devin Levi's been potentially the story of this World Juniors. He's been unreal. He's a goals against average of 0.64. It's nuts how good he's been playing.
I'd have to say that my story and the thing that I like the most is the effect of international players like Leon Draisaitl. When you look at the top 5 scorers
Yeah.
in the World Juniors right now. You have an American, a Canadian, and then 3 Germans. That is something that you would never have seen before. And, like, they're good. Like, that one Elias kid was buzzing that game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the kind of thing I love. I know they got beat 10-0. Or whatever it was. But
they had 9 players.
Did they show? I know, exactly. And I know there was other factors towards that. But I liked seeing them in a really tight game against Russia. It made me really think about what 5 to 10 years of the World Juniors would look like, and to think about. And my son, So my son was asking me are the Czechs good? And I'm like, so the Czechs are good, but they used to be amazing because they now have 2 good teams that used to be one, right, when they were Czechoslovakia, and now they've split to be the Czech Republic and Slovakia. And I'm like, think about that, son. They now have 2 teams that can compete, right? In a small country like this. I don't know. I like where it's going with teams like Germany and Switzerland even. I mean, because there is some kids on Switzerland and Austria that look like, how when people just don't look right in equipment? They just don't look like real hockey players kind of thing.
It's that Euro flair.
Yeah.
They have a couple players like that where you're like, did they know that you were that size when they gave you that jersey? Like, it almost covers your pants.
I guess my question, Chalmers, is do you call your kid son while you're talking to him like you're in the Old Testament?
I call him son a lot. Yeah, I say son.
Interesting. Yeah.
My dad called me son a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
The voice of wisdom.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I'm kind of sick because their names are Luke and Logan, and I rarely get it right the first time. I don't know why. It's like that slip you have with the name, so I just call him son, bud.
Interesting. Bud, hey, bud. So to your Germany comment, the Ottawa fucking Senators are going to be so hard to play against, man.
That's Stutzel, man.
They're a fucking loaded. Oh my God, Stutzel is so good.
He's Draisaitl 2.0.
Ottawa's going to do better than everyone thinks.
Yep. That's my hot take. I actually think if I could bet on Ottawa just not coming last, I think I might do it if you gave me decent enough odds, because I don't think it's a lock that they come last in this division, man.
No, I bet you they can come in 3rd or 4th.
I wouldn't call them a playoff team. I still don't really like their goaltending too much, but I think
how does it work for playoffs?
Top 4.
Ooh, I would bet on them to make the playoffs.
You would bet on the Ottawa Senators to make the playoffs?
Yeah, what's the juice? Because there's value there.
I need good. Yeah, I would need
Everyone's shitting on Ottawa like we shat on fucking Vegas in their first season.
Speaking of which, I cannot wait to start doing some hockey betting. The old football, winning the old football pick'em. It's got the itch going.
My commitment to our listeners is I want to try to become Puckline Jesus.
Puckline Jesus.
What is that? That's so. If you bet on the puck line, that means they have to win by 2. So it pays bigger juice. I'm a juice chaser. Right.
Let me just also add this. Last time we did the pod and we talked about where the Oilers were to win the division, they were plus 500. They're now plus 575 to win the North Division, and I can't find anywhere.
They've gone. Their odds have gotten better for
the Oilers' odds have gotten better. I'm trying to find if I can get the Senators to make the playoffs, but I'm not seeing it on the first book I'm looking at here, and I'm doing this live.
I would bet that.
I think they're going to be better. I don't think their goaltending's good, and I don't think their blue line is good enough to make Matt Murray look good all of a sudden. So that would be my concern, but I think that forward group's going to be really exciting, and they got some good players there. And everyone just loves to, like you said, everyone just loves to write them off and sort of be like, spit on them and go, they're coming last. Stupid Senators.
Well, if someone out there can find a book that's got Ottawa to make the playoffs, let me know, because I'm going to sprinkle some cabbage on it.
Like for Ottawa, just to pump their tires a little bit, they also have the benefit of having zero pressure, which I think probably helps a lot.
Keep in mind that I don't listen to every single thing, but are you saying to me that this kid's going to go straight from World Juniors to the Senators camp?
100%. He's going to make the team. He's playing.
Did you not see his interview? Okay. He flew to Ottawa the night they were eliminated, I think. He's ready to go, man.
Yeah, he's ready.
There are odds out on the Oilers season opener against Vancouver. Edmonton on the puck line, plus 230.
Puck line Jesus, thoughts? What?
Edmonton on the puck line, minus a goal and a half, is paying plus 230.
I know it's home opener. You can't. Puck line Jesus says, just play the money line.
Money line minus one. No, man, if you're going to play the money line, play the puck line. Fuck it.
No,
you parlay the money line with.
What have you people turned into?
What I will guarantee you though.
What have you people turned into? I feel like I fell into a staff room in Atlantic City.
That game's going to hit the over. That game's going to be unless it's like 6. That's going to be a 4-3, 5-4 like game. It's going to be awesome.
Right now, I'm also looking at one, Jay. You'll like this one. Connor plus 450 to win the Hart.
Ooh.
Leon plus 950.
It's amazing you're a defending Hart trophy winner, and there's a teammate with twice as good odds as you to win.
I think that's fair, though.
Connor's
it's hard to win
plus
that twice
320 to win the Art Ross.
I like that, too. My biggest regret right now, I took him to get over 82.5 points at even, or over 80.5 points at even money, and that was dumb of me. I should have just put that money right on him to win the Art Ross. Because, I mean, if he gets over 80 points.
Stanley Cup Oilers are plus 2,400.
Damn.
Ooh, So I'm right now legitimately in between sport books. This sports book I use is really shitty for football because it can't parlay over-unders with anything.
It stopped doing it, hey? What the hell was that about? It was doing it up until 3 weeks ago, and now it won't do it.
Oh, are we on the same book?
Cool bet?
No.
Hey, if anyone's saying betting shit in here, I better be getting paid.
Oh, Oddshark represents the book I use. One.
Yeah, if you go,
Oddshark's not the sports book. Oddshark is like the odds aggregator and information tool that we use to help us be a better better.
There you go.
I believe is the.
Thank you for getting my ad read in.
Is the way to play it, but anyway, so there's all these withdrawal options, and I took the email transfer, the e-transfer. It said like the Interact e-transfer, and that was yesterday at like 1 p.m. and I haven't seen an email yet. I got a lot of money. Well, for me, a lot of money coming my way. So I need to get that in time so I can load up my next book for the hockey season.
What a bunch of degens we've turned into on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Not me. Not me. One bet of.
You know what? Fuck it. It's the start of the season. Bet with your fucking crazy heart. I'm not going to advise the bet puck line for the Oilers, but I'm just going to do it just to kick things off.
Because, you know, I wrote about this on Sunday on The Nation. We've finally, after months of waiting, it's fucking Kool-Aid season, and I'm drinking it down like I haven't had any liquids in months. I love this part.
Yeah. Puck line Oilers with the over. That'll probably pay, what, plus 600?
It'd probably get pretty close to that. Or you take the extended over, right? Like go like 6.5 goals because it's set at 5.5. Take the extra goal and puck line, and then have yourself a hell of an opening night for the Edmonton Oilers.
And then bet all my bank on the first season and just live and die by day one.
All in for the opener. How's the year going to go?
And then take all my winnings and put it on the Oilers to win the cup.
We are going to get a lot more into betting on Thursday when we're joined by Scott Hastings. He's going to get me all set up for betting on my Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. I'm wearing my new Bills hat.
Good man. Oh yeah, that's a retro design. I like it.
What was the finals in the pick'em after the weekend? I don't even remember who I bet on.
So the finals in the pick'em, as a group, we ended up splitting it. So two of us got them right, 2 of us got them wrong. I nailed mine, New Orleans, and I think you got yours right too, Bag Milk. I'm checking.
Champion.
Chalmers lost because he had Arizona and they were terrible. And Jay, you had Dallas. So our record on the year ends at 33, 34-1. Scott Hastings went 2-1 again. So his record for the regular season ends at 22, 14-0. But we're going to keep doing that through the playoff rounds here in the NFL. That comes up on Thursday. Next Monday, I have made the decision it will be an all predictions episode of the Real Life Podcast for the upcoming hockey season. So I'll send you guys like 10 things, and we'll all give our predictions for them. We'll get nice and stoked. I'll keep track of them as well.
I never would have predicted you'd say that. Put that in your list, boy.
Changing gears again, I do see the Oilers just sent out a notice to season ticket holders today that they still have no idea when packages will be available, but you season ticket holders will have first dibs when that happens.
2021, baby. I'll go in a hazmat suit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's what's coming up over the next couple episodes of the Real Life Podcast. We are 9 days away from the season opener for the Edmonton Oilers, and I am personally very, very excited for that. This has been episode 244, my bad, of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by Oodle Noodle. 14 locations in Edmonton. Remember, 10% of all in-store and curbside pickup proceeds go towards a local charity. And our friends at Twig and Berries, you can save 15% with the promo code NATION15, twigandberries.ca. Guys, thanks for giving me an hour of your time.
Mm-hmm. You're all right, boys.
Perfect. All right, this episode's over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.